Alf, today we're going to tell people 3 ways how to fix sports card breaks in 2025. In reality, friends, I don't know if this is more of fixing sports card breaks or maybe just improving on sports card breaks, but I think it's an important topic, especially given the news that we had yesterday, of course, the scandal around backyard breaks. So I think this is timely. Plus, what I've always liked to do on my channel is open up the discussion, open up the conversation, so it allows for comments, it allows for people to come in and kind of say their 2 cents on this. Whether you are someone that does a lot of breaks, you don't do any breaks. I know there's a lot of people like myself that just don't do them. Just don't really get involved. It's not a part of my hobby. I'm a singles buyer. I buy vintage, modern, all sorts of different sports, non-sports, pop culture, collectibles. And I'm really focused on singles. I would love to open up boxes here and there, but the price points of today's product, it's just not suitable for most products for what I'm trying to do. I just don't see enough EV, estimated value, out of what these boxes are priced at. And there's a variety of different reasons for that. Breaks is one of those reasons. It's undeniable. And so here we are. And of course, when you look at yesterday's event, it's an absolute horrible, stupid thing that happened, but it's just one thing among a many, many long line of idiotic things that go on in sports card breaks and the gambling side, the repack gambling side of the hobby. It's just one of many of these things. And at some point, people have to start voting with their dollar. Right? A lot of these folks will say, man, that's horrible. And then they'll go right back in and start buying into it again. And let me say too, I got comments yesterday. Do you think that all breakers are bad? Why are you saying that they're all bad? I don't think that they're all bad. I think that there are good. Actually, I know that there's good people that are in breaks. And actually, let's separate the 2 things here. I am not a fan overall of sports card breaks in our hobby. I think it's a net negative. I don't think it's a net positive. I think, and this is just one man's opinion, I think it's a net negative. I don't think the good outweighs the bad when it comes to gambling products in our space. But look, I'm the nerdy guy, the middle-aged guy. I'm not in touch with reality. I don't know anything about anything. That's just my opinion. With that being said, I know there's a lot of good guys and gals that are involved in that space. They're people, family people, good overall people. They're just involved in a space that I'm not a fan of. That doesn't mean I think that they're bad people. It's not personal. It's business. It's just business. While I do see the utility of breaks and being able to buy into certain teams, there was someone that had commented on my video yesterday that they're in Asia and they're not able to get new product when it comes out. Breaks allows them to be able to do that. There is utility for breaks. That's not at all what I was saying. I'm not saying to get rid of all breaks. I understand the demand for the product, the service, the entertainment value, all that stuff. I get it. But we always hear, oh, this hobby doesn't need added regulation. We self-regulate ourselves. We take care of it. We police ourselves. Well, sort of. We sort of do. And this is a perfect little section of the hobby that could really use an overhaul, a little bit of an overhaul. I don't think that I'm alone in thinking that. Now, the first thing that I would say that just should be honestly, this feels like common sense. I didn't even know this was a thing until recently. I thought that you had to be 18 to buy into a break. Apparently, that's not really the case. I'm not sure if a lot of the breakers even know how old people are. I think maybe you just have to have a card, and maybe it's your parents' card. I don't know. You can also have, kids can have cards where they, earn allowance on it and spend off of that like a credit card. But I think that it should be a rule that you have to be 18 plus, just like you are to buy a pack of cigarettes to participate in a break. And the reason for that is because the majority of hobbyists, even a lot of those folks in the breaking space, agree that this is gambling. Whether it's regulated or not as a gambling entity, people in the space understand the risks and the gamble and all of the randomization of it and understand that this is a gambling space. So before you do have outside agencies or influences coming in and dictating what regulations are, why not try and self-regulate a little bit? And this is a no-brainer one. Let's make sure that we don't have minors that are buying into breaks. And no, I know somebody will pop in the comments and say that I'm all for, regulation. But here's what happens a lot of times with growing industries. I've seen this over and over and over. This is what happens with growing industries. There are few that ruin it for everybody. This is the way, I swear, I've seen this many, many times in industry. Going back in time, even in the early days, people used to die in factories because there were no regulations in place to protect workers from getting injured, having any sort of recourse. So the idea of no regulations doesn't make sense either. I'm not for a ton of regulation. I'm just for common sense type regulation stuff. And in breaks, if this hobby is really serious about self-regulating, then self-regulate some stuff. What are you doing to self-regulate? I hear the talk, I hear the chatter. I just don't see anything. All right, the second way that we can improve on / fix brakes is... But first, I've got to say thank you to today's Friday shoutouts. Card Capsule, you need supplies, but you don't want to pay an absolute fortune for card cases, top loaders, semi-rigids, and all the goodness. Check out Card Capsule in my video description and pinned comments. I've got a coupon code, a promo code there to get some money off over there at Card Capsule. Make sure to take advantage. JustCollect.com, you've got a collection to sell. You don't know where to sell it. You don't know what it's worth. JustCollect.com is the place to go. They've got an easy appraisal form on the website. Make sure to check out JustCollect.com. The second way, proper disclosures. Proper disclosures. And you might be thinking like, well, what does that mean exactly? Proper disclosures. Why do we still have people that open up a break saying, let's make you some money? All right, hey everybody, let's make you some money. Guys, 80 to 85%, maybe 90. I mean, I don't know exactly what these numbers are. They're high of the people that are joining in on that break aren't coming away with anything, or they're coming away with a 1 or 2 cards, 3 cards or something. They're not getting any sort of real value back. The idea that you're making anybody any real money, the break winners, so to speak, if there are any in what you're opening, are going to be few and far between. It's not going to be, let's make everybody some money. You should not be coming into a break because you're thinking, man, I'm about to make a bunch of money. Odds are stacked way against you in today's breaking world. And so proper disclosures can be, hey, this is risky. Hey guys, welcome to the stream, welcome to the break. And again, I know this doesn't fit into the marketing jargon, but hey guys, remember, this is risky. Don't overspend, don't spend more than you have. Some sort of disclosure. I'm not saying you necessarily have to put the 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-GAMBLING that all the sports betting sites do. They're required to do so. I know our industry is not required to do so, but hey, maybe that's something you add into your stream. Like, hey, look, if you feel like you have an issue, here's someone that can help you. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Another part of disclosures is maybe saying less. And what I mean by saying less is when you pull a $50 card or $75 card or $100 card, we don't need to announce this as a $500 card or announcing what that price would be in a PSA 10. Ooh, a PSA 10 of this would be $2,000. Guys, I mean... And that's great. Maybe they'll get a PSA 10. Maybe they will. But again, just talking honestly about what it is. Man, if this grades out at a 10, it looks actually like it's centered pretty well. Maybe it gets a 10. But we have a lot of it in this space where they pull out a cool card. They pull out, maybe it's got a nice patch, a nice swatch on it. It's got an autograph on it. And it's still, unfortunately, not worth a damn thing because most of even like the autos and the patch cards and that stuff, it's of like irrelevant players that are not hobby relevant or sports relevant. And they're just not worth very much. So the whole idea that you just got some massive hit, it gives the customer a feeling like, oh, did I get a massive hit? And many will say like, oh, well, this is the customer's bad. You know, they should know better. They should do more research. I am a total believer in personal responsibility, completely and openly a believer in it. But I'm thinking about the way that people get into this or get back into this. They get back in, they watch what other people are doing, they try it out, and if they have a good experience, maybe they try it again, or maybe they go into a different part of the hobby. They're like, oh, they learn about other things. But if they have bad experiences once or twice, and maybe even 3 or 4 times, they're probably never coming back. So you're feeding into a lot of your first-time customers are not repeating. And I think that's a big part of this thing that I think no one is really getting. We're in a boom time. Demand is high right now. Demand is super high for new product. Everyone's excited about the new draft classes. It might not always be this way. And so if you're a breaker, if you're a company in this industry, right now you're riding high because it's fairly easy money. This is probably the easiest money that breakers are ever going to make in this hobby and have done over the last 5 to 7 years. I think it's going to get harder. And the reason why I think it's going to get harder is because I do think, just like how collectors have gotten smarter, I know that people will say like, oh, collectors are so dumb and this and that. People aren't paying $2,000 for PSA 10 base cards anymore, for Luka Doncic, for example, or any of these players. There is a lot more of a defined taste now. People have spent a few years here, a lot of them, and they're like, okay, I'm going for 90s inserts of this player. I'm going for vintage. I'm going for this, that, or whatever. Collectors have gotten smarter with their money. Do we all kind of FOMO into some things occasionally? Absolutely. But in the same way that collectors / speculators have gotten smarter in this hobby over the last few years, I think that the hobby gambler, in quotation marks, it is also going to get smarter. They're going to look for better experiences. What's working now and what's worked over the last 5 years, I don't think it's going to work 5 years from now. I really don't. I think that there's just going to be too much competition, which leads me into number 3, who could be the next entrance into the space. I think it's going to be folks that bring a professional demeanor to this. Look, If you want to gamble, where's like the mecca? Where's the epicenter for gambling? At least in the US, Las Vegas. I've never been a gambler, but I've been to Las Vegas a handful of times for conventions and different things for work. I stayed at Caesar's Palace. This is just one of many of the huge hotels, casinos that's there. If you're a high roller there, if you're spending thousands of dollars at Caesars, you probably get comped. You got meals that are comped. You might be going to a free show, maybe even a free room. If you're a regular and you're spending this sort of money, you are getting taken care of. They roll out the red carpet for high rollers, people that are spending money, to make sure that they have a great experience and come back and gamble with them again. In sports cards, I'm not seeing the same sort of experience. I'm seeing you show up, you're expected to pay big because we're the ones that get all the big hits is always kind of the marketing pitch. It's really strange. So I think there's going to be new players or existing players that are going to step up their game. The blackjack dealer is wearing a suit. I don't understand why we don't have a little bit more of that. I think we're going to have more people come in that take this very, very seriously. They're going to know their products. I think there's going to be someone that comes in and disrupts this. Or again, it might be an existing company that's out there, but I think there's going to be a disruptor or disruptors of pros that come in here. They know their checklist, they know their products, they're dressed well, they're dressed to the nines, and they're here to offer you a premium experience. They've got certain giveaways and things for their high rollers. They're going to take care of their people. Maybe they'll have live events that they have at the National or something. It's going to be, I think that is coming. I think that's a huge opportunity in breaking right now. Where are the pros? Where is the professional experience, the more luxury experience? You're paying luxury prices for these breaks. You're paying thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in some cases for these breaks and these repacks. My God. I think too, if you're Fanatics and Panini and some of these manufacturers, whoever does that, I think they're gonna do well with those companies. I'm sure Michael Rubin and all the other guys would be very happy to see more and more professional outfits coming in and setting up. I'm certain that they would get allocation with that business model. And so I asked this community, are we trying to convey an underground high stakes poker game or a professional outfit? What are we trying to portray? What is the image going to look like? And also too, if you're a comedian, if you're a funny guy, you're trying to crack jokes, where's the Jim Gaffigan style comedians out there? Yeah, kind of more of a clean comedian, guys that are just funny, that are out there just breaking cards. Where are those guys? I thought of Jim Gaffigan because my wife and I are going to go see him next weekend. I'm excited. His stand-up is coming to town. If the hobby is serious about policing itself, then we actually have to do something different. You can't just do the same thing and talk. I hear a lot of talk and there's no walking it. There's just no walk. I don't see it. I just don't see it. There's all this talk. And so will this hobby get serious? I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out. But ultimately, you, me, we all decide with our hobby dollar. And again, like I said in yesterday's video, these dollars are precious. They're not easy to make. Don't just throw them away. Think about it. Really put some thought into who we're all working with and who we're doing business with and all that stuff. It's important, and more now than ever. I really do believe that this hobby industry, there's a fork in the road here, and we're going to go one way or the other. And one way is going to be down a road of shit, and the other way is going to be presentable. It's going to be suitable to where this thing can actually grow out. And when real money looks at it, when big money looks at it, they take it seriously. Like, okay, collectibles, yeah. These new guys, they came in, these Michael Rubin guys, they came in, or whoever it is comes in, and they really turned this thing around. Look at it now, compared to what it was. In 5 years, that's what I hope I'm saying. But you know what? In 5 years, it could be exactly what we see now, and it will never really be taken seriously. All right, my friends, that's all I've got today. Stay healthy, stay awesome. I'll talk to you again later.